Hey guys, welcome back to an all new episode of Conflicts. Today we are looking at another robot vacuum. This here is the ILIFE A11. Now, we've reviewed a lot of different robot vacuums before in which there's a lot of different variations in terms of quality as well as functionality. But this one here actually kind of marks all the bells and whistles, mainly because of the fact that it comes with a lidar detector, which is a 2.0 version, of course, which features SLAM technology. Now, if that makes no sense to you at all, well, think of it as a super enhanced robot that can go ahead and detect its environment around it by creating a 3D environment to go ahead and see where it's at. So that's actually pretty cool, giving it more or less a laser navigation, which is actually mentioned right over here. Now, it features both wet and dry functionality, so you can go ahead and use it as both as a vacuum as well as a mop, so you do get those two-in-one kind of deal. So it does feature a 4000 PA, so it can go ahead and suck all those dust and crumbs without any effort. And then it also has a 2.5-hour battery life, which is actually pretty darn good. Now, together we'll be unboxing it and seeing exactly what it's all about. So if you guys wanted your own, check out their link down below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so this here's our box, says what it is, kind of shows all the different functions, which we kind of already went over. So on the back here, kind of talks about a little bit more in terms of detail. Of course, you get the 4000 PA, 2-in-1 water tank, and the new generation laser technology, which is that lidar 2.0. So you get a little blueprint of our robot vacuum, which you can actually have as a poster. I don't know why they always do that, but that just looks pretty cool on paper. And then this here is our robot vacuum, of course, with all the different accessories. So let's go ahead and take this stuff out and see what we got. All right, so this here's everything that we get. So it does have a lot of different pieces to it, surprisingly. But first, let's take a look at the robot vacuum. Now, first thoughts are, I have to say that it does have a nice quality grade feel. It's actually pretty heavy, a lot heavier than I was expecting. And then you do have this like gloss black finish on the front here. You can see that right there. There's no fingerprints by touching it, so that's good. A lot of these things do get dirty, so that's kind of nice that they have some kind of like weird protectant on there. And then this here is going to be our lidar detector, which is essentially something that rotates around, kind of creating an environment. You do get your push sensor here on the front, of course, so if it ever does bounce against the wall, it'll notify the robot to go ahead and turn about, in which I do see some variety of different sensors. So we do have, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm sure there's a lot more. But you do have multiple sensors in here to create boundaries so it won't fall off the edge. You do have your active suspension on both sides there, so essentially a spring. So you can go ahead and go over different bumps without any issues. And then we do have a little QR code here to go ahead and scan for the app, I'm assuming. We have our little spindle here on the bottom to brush up the dirt. And it looks like we have a different version of the spindle. I haven't seen that before, so that's kind of cool. So it does come with a spot here for the spindle. So you got one of those. And it does come with a spare one in case you ever have to swap it out. So that's kind of nice. They do give extras. And then we have our dust bin, which I believe this will just kind of open up like that. There we are. So we have our current just plain dustbin in here right now, and it does have the filter already on there. And it does come with an extra filter, so that's kind of nice that they do include that. So again, they're really taking the precautions and giving you all the necessary accessories to use this for a long-term purpose. So it's kind of just fall into place like this, and then of course it does come with a little brush here to clean any kind of dirt. And then this here is going to be our housing for our water tank. So over here you do have a little cap. Just go ahead and open that up, and then you just fill that with water. So this thing will have essentially two tanks. You have a miniature tank here on the side for the water, and then you also have the dust collecting bin too. So again, the 2-in-1. So that's really nice that they do include that. You do get your remote, and the nice thing about this remote is it does come with an LCD screen, so you don't have to worry about that. And then it does require 2 AAA batteries, so just keep that in mind. And then last but not least, we have our mop pad over here. So this accessory will just kind of attach on the bottom. There's a little button, I believe, right here. And this will just kind of slide into play. There we go. And that's it. Now you can go ahead and remove this mop piece if you need to. And it does come with some extra ones too, so that's kind of nice that they do include that. And then lastly, we have our charging station. So very subtle, very small, it doesn't look too distracting. Usually these things are really bulky, so it's kind of nice that they have a very small charging station. And that is about it in a nutshell. So with that said, let's go ahead and set this thing up next and try it out. So I went ahead and put two AAA batteries in our remote. So you do have a few different functions here. So you have your power button here in the center. You have your directional panel where you can go ahead and move it about. Looks like you have a calendar, timer, speed mode, as well as a water mode, and then a home key too.
Start global sweeping.
So it does have its own voice, which is nice. All right, so it's kind of scanning the perimeters using a lidar detector. All right, so there's one to hit the wall. Now it has using its bump sensors to move around it. And you can see how it's kind of working its way around. And it's actually doing a pretty good job with not hitting the wall. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can control it manually just to show you guys what it does. So right now we're controlling it manually, so I can go ahead and move it forward. I can have it turn left. I can have it turn right. Pretty straightforward in terms of the control use. So let's go ahead and change the speed. So it's a little higher now, you can hear that. And this is the lowest sound. So medium, high. So that is actually suctioning very loudly for a vacuum, surprisingly. Give you an idea how loud this is gonna sound, just watch this. So right now we're just like in a regular room and we're at this level here.
Start sweeping along the edge.
So we're going from mid 40s to 30s to 60s to 70s once we're actually using it. So it kind of gives you an idea in terms of how loud it can get. But overall, yeah, I mean, it is a loud vacuum. But again, it is using a great suctioning, so you do kind of compensate based off of that. Now I can hit the home button here, and it should go back. Look at it going around the cone. All right, so pretty simple stuff there. So the next thing we do is try out the app. So I'm gonna go ahead and boot up the app here. So you created an account and then we'll click on Add Robot and it's gonna search for it. So we're gonna press the home button and power button for 3 seconds. We're clicking back, we're allowing permission, allowing it to connect to the device of the local network. All right, now that we're all connected, this here is going to be our main hub. So you can already see how it kind of created a room around where it's located. So based on how far it went, you can see where it kind of stretched itself and kind of scanned all the walls using the lidar. Now, this will allow us to go and create a room, so I can kind of create different environments and different floors based on where it's at. And then I have more settings here where you can change it from manual mode, edge, spot clean, everything that you saw on the remote. I can do everything here, and I can even hit start too. And I get a live readout of where the robot is. There we are. So right now it's creating an environment around it. It's noted where the home is as it's kind of moving itself around the edge here. Let's just see what it does. All right, so currently you can see it kind of working its way around the room here. And if you look at the map here, you can see where the robot's been and where it's going. The white line kind of shows its current route. And then it'll talk about how much every area is clean, the battery life, and the clean time. From there, you have a few different settings. So if I click on the top right here, I can change the name of the device. I can put a quiet mode on. I can do a memory map. I can calibrate it. I can update it. I can upgrade it. And then you can see over here, like as it's creating a 3D room around it using the sensors, it'll memorize this going forward for any future cleaning activities. All right, so I'm gonna quickly pause here for a second to show you what's happening. So this here is the app. As we kind of zoom out, you can see exactly where the robot's been and where it's going. So following the white line, you can see the directional panel. So what it's doing is creating a boundary, and from there it's gonna go ahead and clean the inside, just like any other standard robot vacuum does. Now, the nice thing about this is obviously you are getting a map here. So once you do create that map, you can go customize it. You can go ahead and create a virtual wall. There we go. So virtual walls are setting so that the robot will not go in that area at all. So as you kind of move inside, you'll see that the robot is not going towards the virtual wall. So the robot is now just finishing up its boundary. It's now going to be cleaning the inside of this boundary. So it's going to go back and forth and essentially cleaning it, as you can see right here. So it'll be creating the line. So there we are. So now the robot is creating its own cleaning algorithm, which will be cleaning the inside by going back and forth and vacuuming the interior portion of this particular boundary. Now you can either adjust the speed from Eco, Standard, or Turbo, and then you also have the C-Pitch mode, which is where we'll be doing next. All right, so let's go ahead and add some water to this thing next and see how the scrubbing works. The way this works is we're gonna go ahead and open this up like this, and then we're gonna press this button here and remove our dust collector. Wow, you can actually see all that dust and dirt that it collected in there. That's actually a lot, surprisingly. I did not realize how much dust is down here. So that's kind of cool on how it actually works. So we're just gonna put this here, flip it in play, close it off, and then from there, we're gonna add on our mop piece. Okay.
Start global sweeping.
All right, and we're gonna try this out now and see how the mop function works. So I do see some water coming out of that thing now. Very nice, as it's kind of scrubbing the floors. So it is currently mopping the floor. So that is how that works. All right, well there you guys have it. Overall, a really cool vacuum. I love the fact that you can use it as a vacuum as well as a mop. And overall, it is really easy to use. Now, if you guys had any questions, feel free to comment down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.